Hey, welcome back. So let's talk a little bit about where aging begins. We all think it begins in our body. We all think it begins genetically. But in the book, I have shared some writings by called "The Victorious Attitude" by Orison Swett Marden, and I really feel strongly about a lot of what he's written over the years because he had a grasp on it more than 100 years ago. And he basically reminds us that old age begins in our mind. And I share some stories in the book about my grandmother and what I saw in her picture from when she was 50 years old. And it just reminded me literally a few days ago. And then I saw this thing pop up where it was a comparison between the Golden Girls and the Sex and the City women, who shockingly are all the same age in their time frames with their shows and programs and movies, whatever it is. And it really hit me that, like my grandmother at 50 already looked like, 85-year-old grandmother, gray haired, everything. And, she struggled with diabetes already, and she had some real issues going on. And she was a beautiful woman, loved her dearly. I mowed her lawn every week. Helped her out with so many things. But, you look then, where even 30 years ago, 50 was different than 50 today. And we want to make sure that our 50, 60, 70 today is different than it was then, because it obviously can be. And as you'll go along and learn, I'm really low maintenance. Like, I use very few toxic products, if anything. I'm very natural minded. I'm going to share a lot of those things along the way. I don't know for how many years all I've used for lotion is cocoa butter and coconut oil. I don't use fancy products. But it's really about our diet and our lifestyles that age us. And that's what we want to keep digging into with this. Keep assessing where you are with everything. We take it for granted that we're doing it right. And sometimes we might not be. So remember that old age begins in the mind first, and we want to start replacing it with a youthful mindset. Start replacing that because it's kind of a manifestation thing. If you focus on being young, you're going to be more young. If you focus on being old, you're going to be old. If you can only focus on your ills and ailments, that's where you're going to be. But if you go and focus on, hey, let's go explore this, let's try this, be that one who still does those things. We were in our family reunion a month ago, and the kids were all diving into the pool, and I'm like, well, I'm going to dive into the pool. I'm not that old yet, right? So then an older cousin yet, who turned 70 this last week, he dove into the pool, and I thought, good for you. It was fine. We're fine. Stay active enough to do these things. So keep changing your mindset. Keep that young mindset. We're going to keep moving forward. Thanks for coming along.